Hello, welcome back to another video. My name is Gemma and today I'm going to be reviewing A Flat Place by Noreen Masud, a book that was very recently longlisted and then shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Non-Fiction. If you're new to this channel, I am a big fan of book prizes, but the Women's Prize definitely is my fave, and this year, the inaugural year for the Women's Prize for Non-Fiction, I have been trying to get through as many as I can. I haven't done a brilliant job so far, but the second book on the long list that I picked up was A Flat Place, and I'm here to talk about my thoughts on that book, which may be somewhat unpopular. So, when this book came up, I wasn't overly interested in it to start with. Then it started getting quite a lot of hype and I was like, okay, let's give this a go. No, just no. And this is billed as part memoir, part nature non-fiction, which actually sounded quite interesting to me. And it's set in the UK, discussing Masud's life growing up in Pakistan and then her difficult relationship with particularly her father, but also to a degree her mother, and her move to the UK and what that meant for her and her future. There were quite a lot of things to like in this book. I think that Masud's exploration of trauma and the way that it manifests throughout adulthood was really quite well done, very sensitively done, and you could see how much pain she had been in trying to understand herself and where she fit into the world that she was living in. I also thought that some of the nature writing was really beautiful. There was quite a big section covering some of the nature areas in Suffolk, which is where I live, in the east of England, and I thought those were also very interesting, as well as areas sort of up north as well. So you know, there were good parts of this book. There were little gems within this book, and I think the people who have loved this book have really sort of championed those sections, and I can understand why. My problem with this book was that it felt very, very like Masud just kept going on tangents. She'd called this book A Flat Place, and she was trying to equate, I guess, her emotions, her self-flattening of emotions with flat landscapes. And it felt a bit forced to me. The concept felt forced. And she talked again and again about how she kept looking for flat places and she was looking for... And I was like, but I don't really get why. You haven't really explained how these two things interconnect for me. Other people may disagree, but I just felt like it was a forced concept. It was a way for her to sort of bulk out her memoir with what she was sort of studying, which is sort of the intersection of literature and nature. It was also almost like she wanted to write two books, but she didn't quite have enough content for either, so she smushed them together. That may be somewhat unfair, but that's what it felt like to me. I also felt like Masud went off on tangents a lot. So would be running down one track and then she'd sort of veer a little bit, veer. And then by the end of the chapter, you couldn't really remember what point she was trying to make. And that's just something I don't like. I like things to be quite linear or to fit together neatly, and that is absolutely a reader preference, because there will be readers who like the meandering, going all over the shop sort of style. Absolutely, that is for some people, but it's not for me, and I found it a bit irritating. So the two things together, the random tangents and the forcing of the two concepts, meant that I just disconnected from the book, probably about halfway through. Is Masud a good writer? Yes, beautiful writing. Did she have interesting things to say in this book? Yes, 100%. But the way that it was constructed effectively meant that I didn't enjoy it so much. I gave it 3 stars. It was not a bad book, but for me, it didn't really work. It certainly isn't my favourite that I've read from the long list so far. I mean, it's my second, but I have got two others on the go, so it will be in 4th place out of 4. And yeah, and then it got shortlisted this week, or last week. It depends on when I get this edited and uploaded. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed, but I know that a lot of other people have loved this. So I would love to know what your thoughts are, if you have read it, if you agree or disagree, and also whether you think it is a book that would interest you based on sort of what I've said. I know I've been relatively negative, but I do think there's a big audience for this. It just isn't me. So yes, if you want to see a book that was longlisted that I much preferred, I will leave my review for Some People Need Killing by Patricia Evangelista here, and I will see you all very soon with another one. Bye guys.